Hello, this is Mr. Evilcheese.
And I'm Zombie Cat.
And this is our review of the McFarlane Toys Walking Dead Color Tops 7-inch Rick Grimes figure. And I think they call him an action figure, but he is not an action figure. He is either just a figure or a statue. He has some movement, but not enough to call him an action figure. First, I want to point out that this was sent to me by Fu Manchu from Fu Reviews. He's one of the, well, he's actually the first person I heard of finding these figures, and then he sent me a couple. So that was really cool. And he also did reviews on these, so check him out. Here's the package. You can see up there's the color tops, which I guess each series of these has a different color. The next one's blue.
Who gives a shit?
Yeah. It's the same with the number. Each series has numbers, 1 of 8. And they're not, they don't list the other ones you can get, but they're not all Walking Dead. There's, in this wave, you got Rick, Michonne, there's Travis, and then I think there's like other weird stuff that I don't really care about. Yeah, a nice picture of them there. He's all bandaged up. I guess this is like just after the fight with the porch dick, I guess. I don't know. And then there's a picture in the back. Alright, well, let's open this guy up. So there he is, opened up and out of the package. And he comes with a base. It's pretty plain. You got a little bit of texture up there, like it's sidewalk or pavement or something.
Yeah, it looks more like fingerprints with a crack in it.
It does. It does look like fingerprints. But it's cool that they come with a base, especially since it is kind of tough to get him to stand up at first. So these figures are like kind of like bittersweet, I guess, for me, because I really wanted 7-inch figures from the beginning because I just don't like the 5-inch scale. So they made 7-inch figures, which is cool that they're 7 inches, but they're not very action figure-y. They're more like just stuck in this pose. There's a little bit of articulation, which we'll go over.
Useless articulation.
Yeah, it's not exactly what I wanted. Because if you see my videos before, you know that the Shane figure is like one of my least favorite figures ever. I hate that figure because he was just
stuck in an asinine pose.
Yeah, he takes shotgun out of his hand and it's like, what the hell is he doing? And that's kind of the same with these ones. Rick isn't as bad as Michonne because he's kind of just standing there, so that sort of looks normal. But if you try to move him, bad things happen, like his neck there. And then turn his legs and, well, I guess that's not so bad. But I mean, what's the point of turning his legs?
Yeah, then he can't stand up.
Yeah, there's no point in spinning his legs there. Those cuts are just pointless. Now these ones up here I'm alright with. I'd rather they be a little more articulated than that, so they can maybe spread out. But at least he can actually point his gun and stuff. And it is kind of hidden. At first I didn't think he could move his arms because it's hidden pretty well. But it is cool you can move his arms up.
I've moved Rick into a new position so you can see how beautifully articulated he is and how useful that becomes.
Yeah.
One of the lovely positions you can put him into.
The legs are just, it's just pointless to move the legs. It's completely useless to put this cut here. It does nothing.
And the waist. Look at him.
Yeah. Well, lots of figures got the waist. Even the 5-inch figures had a waist like this. So.
But it's just every joint is pointless. Like, the only thing that's useful is putting his arms up, but you still can't bend his elbows.
No.
It's just...
That one's pointless because you get that weird thing going on with his neck.
And I think this is worse than bittersweet. I think this is a sugar-coated turd.
You can spin his arms there, but there's not real much point in that either. You can't do anything at the wrist. You can spin his ankles, which might help with positioning him to get him to stand up. But that's it for articulation. Like, it's just completely useless other than these arms. No
Unless
point
you want him to
whatsoever.
have a goiter neck.
Yeah. I'm Rick Grimes. My neck's broke! And it doesn't have any blood in it for some reason. It's got a letter A in it. For asshole. Now we'll go over the paint and sculpt and everything. Guess we'll go over the paint first, because the most noticeable thing about this is his weird lips. Like they painted him a really light color, and it's a little sloppy, so it looks like he has lipstick on.
It looks like he borrowed Barbie's lipstick.
And
I don't get why they chose that color for his lips either.
I don't either. It should be darker. Like you can see on there, his lips are darker than his skin color.
His lips are red, not baby pink.
Well,
Like, I don't even know what to call that color.
Don't tell him to make it red, because that would be bright red lipstick.
Yeah.
But also on mine, the beard, like his 5 o'clock shadow or whatever, it's like not painted all the way on right here, and it looks funny. It's like he smeared his beard a little bit.
I think it kind of looks like he's actually clean shaven and he just took some mud and smeared it on his chin.
He might have, I don't know. As for the eyes, I think the eyes are pretty decent. I like his blue eyes painted on.
I think the face looks pretty good other than his bottom half of the face problems.
Yeah. I think it looks like Andrew Lincoln.
Yeah.
Which is can't really say that much for some of the other Walking Dead figures. You compare him to 5-inch Rick Grimes. This looks
that
like
one's not too bad. His face is a bit wide on that one, I think.
he looks like Chuck Norris though. He doesn't look like Rick very much. But I think the 7-inch is better on here.
Well, I'm just saying it's not as bad as some of the other ones.
Then you got this Rick, which I think the 7-inch is better on this one too. Lots of problems with that Rick there.
You got that one.
Yeah, and this one.
I think he's an alien.
And then you got this one's kind of hard to compare because it's a bearded Rick.
I think that looks more like Aaron than Rick.
Aaron with a beard? Mm-hmm. It kind of does. So, I think the sculpt on this blows away the 5-inch, which makes sense because when you shrink it down, it loses detail. And also the paint is so, like on this one, it's so bad. There were so many of these that were horrible on this particular Rick. So I think, for the most part, the paint and sculpt on the face are better than on the 5-inch. I mean, I'm not going to pretend that because they can't a 5-inch that means that these were somehow better. Some people I noticed were doing that, but I don't think it looks better. It's just these have way better articulation. Even the original one has better articulation. Maybe not this one so much. Got better articulation in the arms, but he still has shitty legs. I think they did a really good job on the shirt too. Lots of detail on the shirt. You can really see like the seams and everything, the wrinkles. I don't really like the way the shirt's hanging. Like I don't like the way his chest is all showing weird. It just looks funny to me.
It looks like he should have a little bit of chest hair and a gold chain under there.
Yeah. It's odd. But I think they did alright on the sweat coming down. There's some on the back there. Wrinkles are pretty good. Also like this one because it looks more like Rick's body than the others have. Because there's always something just weird about the shapes of the other one's bodies. It just didn't look like Rick to me, but this one does. That's another thing. This shirt on this one looks like they made it out of.
I think it looks like skin.
Yeah, it's a skin shirt.
It's bloody skin.
So that's a vast improvement, I'd say, on the detail and paint of the shirt. This one just looks bad. The hair's all right. It's not horrible. It's okay.
I think it's pretty good. It's not perfect.
You can see his arm. You can actually see some veins and stuff in his arm, which is cool. See like the bones in his hand, wrinkles in his hand, fingers. That's pretty cool. He's got all kinds of stuff all over his belt, which looks really nice and detailed. His little pouches, his little knife in there. Looks really awesome.
I think they did the best job on his belt. And everything on the belt looks just about perfect.
Yeah, some nice pouches there. A little walkie-talkie. And the belt buckle. All that looks pretty damn good. I like the texture on his pants too. I don't like that they didn't paint this hole though. Looks like there should be skin color or something in there. Yeah, pretty good wrinkles on his pants and everything. So I think they painted and sculpted the pants really good.
I think his feet are a little bit too long. They kind of look like clown shoes a little bit.
A little bit. But these are like scans, so it seems like that must be how they actually are.
I don't know. Are his feet really that long? Like they're not wide, they're just really long.
That's how these ones are.
Are they all like that?
Yeah.
I never noticed it before.
Even Little Rick's. He must just have really long boots. But I think this, for overall, I like the sculpt on this. I don't like the pose, but I like the sculpt.
I would say I really like the sculpt. It's very, very good, except like the shirt collar is a bit weird. Everything else I think is fantastic. The paint is pretty decent. There's only a few areas where it's like messed up. But the articulation he gets like a negative score on.
Articulation is horrible. This is a really big step backwards for McFarlane. Like,
they should have just, like, at this stage, they should have just not put in articulation at all, because what they did actually, I'm taking points off that they didn't have for putting useless articulation on them.
It's like, we got 15 points of articulation. Look what it can do. Why? Why can it do that? Look what else it can do. Why? What's the point of even putting a joint there? You might as well just left the joint off, and then that would have looked better there. Just make it straight up statue if that's what you're going to do. And the thing is, it's like, I like some statue figures. Like, well, not so much like them. I just got them because that's the only choice I had. Like Game of Thrones, the new line, because they canceled Legacy, so I got the Game of Thrones statues. And Breaking Bad and Sons of Anarchy, you can pretty much only get them in statue form. McFarlane was already making action figures that moved, and now they're making ones that don't really move. So
I think it's just lazy. I think I would be ecstatic if they made these figures and made the articulation as good as the little ones. Like, it doesn't have to be better, just as good.
Yeah. There's actually more articulation than I thought. You can actually make Rick sit down. Look at that shit. You can take his gun out, obviously, since it's separate in the package. His hands are flexible, so you can get the gun in there, I think. And then his finger's really flexible, so you can get it up there into the trigger area. So that's pretty cool. And like I said, you can put his arm out. And well, I guess that's a little spinning of the arm kind of helps there. So you can make him point his gun. So that is one thing cool with the articulation. Because originally I thought he was just going to stand there like that with his gun, couldn't even aim it. I was all ready to say, I'm going to fight the walkers, but all I can do is... But no, he can actually point his gun, so that's nice.
He's trying to shoot you.
Stop! I ain't afraid. And there's the gun. His handy dandy revolver.
The gun looks pretty good.
Yeah, I like it. Nice texture on the handle. I like the way the metal's painted. Looks pretty awesome. No, I just wanted to compare him to some NECA 7-inch action figures, because they make action figures that can actually do action figure stuff. Same scale, have really awesome sculpts on them, really awesome paint. But look, you can do all kinds of shit. Lots of poses and everything. So why can't they do that with these Walking Dead figures? It'd be so awesome if they went this route and made them actual action figures. I mean, there's joints there, but it doesn't look too bad. That's one thing McFarlane says, he doesn't want ugly joints. Well, that's not... You gotta find ways to make them not look so ugly. Because I think that looks really awesome. Oh, Miss Superman. And there's Arnold. See, look at that. Lots of nice articulation on this guy. So... McFarlane could definitely do something better. Well, I don't know. I'm not saying they can do better than NECA. I'm saying they can do better than what they are doing.
Yes.
As for the face sculpts and paint, I'd say they're not too far off, because I actually think this Rick's face looks better than Bishop. No, Rick was scanned, though. So that's one thing. I don't think they scanned him because he's too old now. His eyes are really weird. Bishop's eyes. Mm-hmm. And then you got the Rambo. Rambo's a little shitty.
He looks a little terrified.
So, McFarlane's Sculpt and paint are better than some of NECA's. Now, Ripley's one that I thought was pretty damn good. She's got a really clean face compared to Rick, so it's somewhat hard to compare. And there's Sarah Connor. So, yeah, the sculpted paint, I think it's pretty decent.
Actually, Sarah Connor is another good example for the joints. Her elbow joints look pretty good.
Oh yeah, she don't have a shirt to hide it or anything, but still, it's alright, it's not bad. I'd much rather have this than shitty articulation. Look at that. All kinds of articulation on this thing. And I'll show next some of the Game of Thrones, which are definitely statue figures, because they also do not move, and they're even attached to their base permanently. And they're about like an inch taller. These are more like 8-inch figures. You can see that in the face area, they don't do a very good job. Like, there's a couple exceptions, but for the most part, their faces just don't look right. I think McFarlane did a better job here. They do pretty damn good on their costumes, though. And there's a Jaime Lannister figure, which I think that was pretty damn good. But yeah, I think they did a better job of like painting lips and stuff. He does kind of have light colored lips, but I think
not that light.
And his skin color is also light and it doesn't contrast as much. That looks weird. Hey buddy, what are you doing, handsome?
Trying not to look at you.
So there's a 10-inch Rick and 7-inch Rick. There's a 5-inch Rick. You can see all the different sizes. But just wanted to show their faces. It's kind of hard because it's guns in the way. Now this Rick seems like it should be better, but I don't know.
I think the smaller one looks more like Andrew Lincoln.
Yeah, it does. I don't know what... I mean, I said that in a review for this. It doesn't look as much like Andrew Lincoln as I would have thought a 10-inch figure would. So I actually think this one's a little better. I'd rather have Rick with a beard, but I just think it looks better. And the rest of the details, I'd say, are probably better on the 10-inch. For the most part, maybe. Like the shirt and everything. I don't know, though.
I don't really like the texture on the shirt on the big one.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
It's a bit odd.
It almost looks like it's cracking. Like it's... if you touched his shirt, it would break.
Or it's like made out of felt.
I do like that his shirt ain't hanging way down, though.
Yeah, and the sweat looks a bit better on him, too. It's more blended.
Yeah.
Pit stain.
Okay, so... the articulation sucks. Just plain and simple. This shitty articulation. The sculpt and paint, I think, are definitely improved over the 5-inch, though. Except for, like, the lip paint, kind of weird. But I would prefer that they would keep the 7-inch line, but also bring back 5-inch, and also give these more articulation. Now, I've seen that some of the upcoming ones, like Abraham, has more articulation. But I don't know if they're going to keep doing that or what. Well, you got anything else to say about this guy?
I think he's a really good-looking piece of shit.
Well, this Mystery of Cheese.
And I'm Zombie Cat.
Thanks for watching and goodbye.
Suck my 10-inch Rick.
Suck my 7-inch Rick.
Suck my 5-inch Rick. Suck my 3-inch Rick. Suck my 1-inch Rick.